Well, the agency industry itself is actually holding up reasonably well and probably a lot better than a lot of people would have thought. It's a low single-digit growth business is maybe the best way to characterize it. Certainly you have some who are doing better than others, Publicis in particular. Omnicom doing reasonably well on its own. Some who are not doing so well. Interpublic, now set to be acquired and merged into Omnicom and WPP, among the largest holding companies. And you also have some others that are really struggling, like Dentsu, and then you can get to S4, and there are other individual agency groups that are struggling. But there are still some agency groups that are middle-sized or growing by mid or high single digits. So it's a mixed bag, but in average, it's probably a low single-digit growth business right now.
So what are the areas of growth? Is it organic? Is it fighting over new business? What are the areas? Is it consulting? Is it...
Yeah, the best opportunities right now for agencies are firstly media. At least the incumbent holding companies are doing incredibly well. And all these numbers are really in organic terms. And so we do see a mid or high single-digit growth rate for media agency businesses. And again, some are doing better than others. Publicis in particular is probably growing faster than basically everyone else. Some not so much. But the media agencies are generally growing everywhere. Creative businesses, the traditional agency networks, not so much growth and probably more like flat around the business because most of them are frankly quite commoditized. Now we do see other pockets of growth. I would argue that IT services focused on marketing should really be included as part of this universe. Now companies like Globant, which are not normally part of the dialogue of agencies, but should be, that's a double-digit grower right now at a decent scale. Sapient inside of Publicis, not so much. They're having some client-specific issues. We look at Accenture Song and we see yet again mid or high single-digit growth rate, which I think is probably the right way to think of IT services. Other parts of the business, PR is kind of flattish. There's lots of cats and dogs inside of the business which are flattish as well. Collectively, it ends up being again low single digits.
Brian, everyone's here in the programmatic ecosystem, the buy side, the sell side. I mean, I should say the sell side, the SSPs, the DSPs. What do you see developing? How's that ecosystem changing? And will Google and the Trade Desk sort of take over the world? I mean, they have, I suppose.
Didn't they already? Yeah. No, I think that there's plenty of room for competition. I think that you see Yahoo having emerged from, I wouldn't say left for dead, but I think it did a really good job over the last 4 or 5 years from everything I've been able to see of becoming a solid number 3 player. So that does prove that there is opportunity for new players. Now, I don't think they're particularly close in size to the Trade Desk or Google's DSP, but it does mean that there is room for competitive alternatives on that side. The SSP side does feel a lot more commoditized. At the end of the day, there seem to be a lot of businesses that are able to post growth, but they have nothing like the scale that the Trade Desk and Google have on a relative basis. It's just much more fragmented. With all that noted, I think to the extent that this business is far from locked in terms of what products are dominant, what business models, what go-to-market strategies are locked in. So there's still plenty of opportunity for companies that are participating in this space. If they're primarily servicing publishers or sellers of advertising, I think the real goal has to be to super serve the technology needs of those publishers. I think that on the demand side, super serving marketers and agencies. And I think there will be some, as Google has been, who try to be that end-to-end process and they just find a different value proposition. So I think that it's a sufficiently competitive environment over, not maybe a day, but over a year, 2 years. Almost anything is still possible in ad tech.